How much of a challenge is it not knowing who your quarterback is and got two quarterbacks that have very different styles to your game?
It's like any position. It's not the first time that we've been faced with this, with other positions. So just approaching it kind of the same way. We're getting ready, we're ready for whichever way we have to go with this thing in the end.
Do you know who your quarterback's going to be?
I don't.
If Simeon plays, who's the backup? Who's the backup to Peterman? Who's the emergency quarterback on?
It's changed every week, but the last few weeks it's been Demo. He's kind of that extra green dot that we have in our back pocket.
Luke, if Justin plays, it's pretty certain he's not going to be 100%. What is your biggest concern, given how many hits he's taken, the vulnerability of just the way he plays the position, and what's at stake?
Yeah, no, I think he really has. He's done a pretty good job of really not taking many hits. I know he fell to the ground and landed on the ground and had the issue on the last one. But I feel like, if he's ready to go, he's ready to go. And if he's not, he's not. We're going to play the game the way we know how to play the game, and we'll see whatever the medical team and Ryan and Flus have to say, that's what we'll do.
To a lot of people on the outside, frankly, it just seems like imprudent to play him. Just let him rest. He's getting hurt. He's beat up. He's actually injured. He's a long-term, prospect at quarterback. Why play him? Do you get that, or are you wondering, or do we not get it?
That's an above my pay level question right there. So I don't. Whatever they tell me, that's what I rock and roll with. So if they say he's ready to play, he's ready to play. If they say he's not, he's not. So I don't get to make those decisions.
On the final drive, walk us through your thought process on the first run, and then the second one I realized was a halfback draw,
Yeah.
And he kept it. But
it happens, right? It happens. No, yeah, it's just like we had a 3rd and 5 early in the game. We called it basically the same play, and Braxton kind of just ran right by the guy, probably 15, 20-yard gain that we left on the table. So we call the same thing, and what happened on the first one, Braxton had his eyes outside and let the guy run right through his inside shoulder. Run basically the same play, and now the guy's on his outside shoulder instead of his inside shoulder. So it went from being like a 10-yard run out of bounds, not get hit, everyone's happy, to a 2-yard roll out of bounds and fall on your shoulder. Turned into a pretty bad thing pretty quickly. But the first one was good. The second one, because he had the injury, we thought, let's give him a breather play. Let's just get a draw off. And obviously he was in discomfort that he kind of lost sight of what the play was on the whole. So then he came back and they played a soft coverage, and he was right. He's just a little late getting to the check down. He should have got there a little sooner. But he performed the play correctly, just a little bit too late.
The interception, was that a product just of the overthrow because of the pain in his other shoulder? Did that play into it?
I'm not sure about that.
we talked to you, earlier this season about, you have the ball at the end with a chance to win. As you've analyzed your play calling and run versus pass, all that sort of stuff, how do you determine whether you've got enough time to run the ball there at the end? Because you've got all your timeouts.
Yeah, we were almost 2 minutes. I bucked 45, 3 timeouts. So yeah, we're in great shape. Only needing the field goal, want the touchdown, need a field goal. So yeah, you're in great shape. You pretty much can do whatever you want in that type of situation.
When he says he's cramping in the fourth quarter, I guess when did he come up to you and tell you that, or was that something you found out from the medical staff?
Cramping?
Yeah, he said after the game, like his legs.
Obviously, I did. Yeah.
stretching his legs out.
The last probably 3 or 4 games, he's been stretching on the sidelines and stuff, and maybe this one was a little bit more extensive. But no one came to me and said he couldn't play or he was held back by any means.
In terms of his legs feeling heavy though, and as the game's wearing on, do you find yourself having to adjust kind of what you're doing fourth quarter wise based on how he's feeling?
No, only because it's week 12, right? This is that time of the season. A lot of people's legs, and he runs the ball a lot, so his legs are going to be sore. But he's such a great athlete, and he's in great shape and stuff. So as far as if there's anything we ever had to hold back, someone would have told me that we needed to do that.
He said after the game, Justin, that Atlanta played a lot of quarters, and then he and David talked about they were charging the mesh and making the zone reads a little more difficult. What the way Atlanta played you guys, what were those challenges, and is that the type of thing you think other teams might try?
Yeah, no, I thought we we really countered it pretty well. You know, what the mesh charge kind of just, you know, makes you make a decision quicker. And so, you know, he had that bubble. If you remember the bubble, it became a lateral. You know, you wish you would hand that off in the mesh charge situation. But other than that, I thought the guys handled it pretty well, the backs and Justin both. And so, yeah, you always have to have a plan for a bunch of different ways. You can get the mesh charge, you can get the surfing technique, you can get the bend and chase, and so you can get a lot of different techniques that we have to be ready for each week.
Is the surfing technique just when the guy kind of?
Yeah, like the Hutchinson was doing pretty much the whole Lions game. Yeah.
When there's uncertainty about the quarterback, there's a gamesmanship factor that coaches like to use. Matt certainly does, you know, keeping your opponent off. But does that also compromise your own preparation that you have two quarterbacks? I mean, I don't know, how are you doing it with reps in practice? And does that not, like I said, compromise your own game planning or preparation because you don't know?
You always have to be ready. I mean, Trevor's been the backup since we started this year, so at any moment he could always go in. So you always got to be ready and have a plan for whoever's playing the position. So as far as your preparation, that doesn't really change. If you knew one guy was playing over the other, maybe your game plan gets more specific over one over the other. But we're good. We're good. We knowing either way, and we'll figure this thing out as the rest of the week goes.
Trevor does have to play. What are you most confident in him about?
Can you say that again?
Trevor has to play. What do you see from him? What are you most confident about him going in there?
Yeah, no, I mean, his experience, right? This is a guy that's played a lot of ball. Last year just played a lot of ball and had a lot of success, and you know, throwing the ball around the yard a little bit. And so, you know, the game, that game experience you can't replace. And so that's a good crush that we get to lean on.
When you're trying to seek balance in the offense and you have a quarterback who's so dynamic with his legs, how do you as a play caller figure the amount of design runs for him, but also knowing if something's not there, he's going to scramble? Like, do you have to factor in how many times he's scrambling a game to factor how many design runs you'll call?
I would say not really. I would say you would say more along the lines of how the game's flowing that you have to pay attention to more. But as far as like design runs, we're pretty specific about when like the term QB design run happens, because I mean, you know, in previous weeks the thought was there was no QB design runs, but the defense was making us give the ball more. So are those QB design runs, or now what's changed is we've had these kind of put him on the perimeter QB runs where he's not supposed to take a hit, and he took two. Those were like the two hits that he took. Because we missed the edge block. So we want to do those still. I mean, those are important to who we are, whether it's with whether you want to call it a QB design run or not, but he's a big part of that. So we factor that into our whole game plan. So whether you're in situational football, whether you're in first and second down, he's always going to be a part of that. Now the scramble part of it, you know, as long as he's not taking hits in the scramble part of it, then he can do that as much as he would like.
What unique challenges is this Jets defense?
I mean, that front is unbelievable. So we're talking about just in there, like, you put 4 D linemen in, and then they kind of rotate 4 other ones that come in that are just as good. So this front seven's the real deal. That's why they're having so much success this year. And then you put on top of it, you know, they got the young secondary that's doing a really nice job too. So they pose a lot of a challenge for us that we're excited to go up against, though.
So Luke, if Justin starts, and how does his injury affect how you call the game, especially against a team that hits the quarterback a lot?
Yeah, no, I think it's like anything. It's if any one of our players on our team had any type of issue that, whether it was medical or the head coach or anybody said we had to work around, we work around it. And if they say it's good to go, green light, then we're rocking and rolling, and we're calling it like we always do. So we got some time to figure all that stuff out, though. So. Thanks, guys.
You know what? If I could, I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to you. I appreciate you being here. I do. I know that it is Thanksgiving, and a lot of people do have families. And while some people are at home eating turkey right now, and you guys are here, so I do appreciate that. I always keep in mind that that we do have the greatest sport in the entire world. And part of that is the big part of that is we have great players, and but also a big part of that is that the stories that you guys write, the articles that you guys show, kind of puts that out there to our fans, and we have outstanding fans. And a big part is that they get to find out from your view the great stories and the great personalities and the great people that we have. So I do appreciate what you guys do on a daily basis. So with that, I'd just like to throw that out there and open it up for questions.
World Cup's going on, Alan, are you still
We
sticking
still-
with the best sport in the world?
We still have the greatest sport in the world. I know that that the other football is maybe world renowned, but I think I heard that when, I don't know if it was in Germany, that they had millions of people that would have liked to have bought tickets. So we still have the greatest sport in the world by far. I'll stand up on the table for that one.
Alan, happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words. When you sit back and look at what's been going, the kind of chaos at quarterback with the Jets right now, what does that do for you? What do you look back and think when you see that?
Yeah, you know what? Not much. That's the NFL. The NFL is a game of attrition, and the NFL is a game of, hey, people, they get hurt sometimes, and sometimes guys may not play as well as the coaching staffs would like. And I know that Coach Saleh and the offense over there with the Jets, they would say, hey, the next man up, and that's why guys get reps. That's why you don't just have one quarterback. You have three, and some people have four, and it's an important position. And I think guys are professionals. And if you've ever heard of Wally Pipp, sometimes guys, when you go the next man up, sometimes don't sleep on the guy that may have been in waiting. So we will attack it. We will prepare. Just like he's been the starter all along, we'll go back and do our due diligence with past performances, past games, and make sure that we have our guys prepared.
They've averaged like their highest output. I know he has like 3 starts, Mike White, it's like 27 points per game with him starting. What makes the offense function so well with him?
Well, you know what? Sometimes it's just I think coaches in the NFL do a phenomenal job of when guys have performances on record. I think coaches do a phenomenal job of going, hey, what does a guy do? What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? And sometimes it's just that, hey, you don't have a playbook, so to speak, on a particular guy. So sometimes that's it. Sometimes it's just a shot of adrenaline that, hey, we have someone new, and it's a quick shot of adrenaline, and then it kind of fades away. We're looking at that right now to see the what and the whys, and I don't have an answer for you just right now. It's I'll always say sometimes it's not just one thing. It's a few things that give you that boost.
It seems like you've brought blitzers to try and pressure the quarterback, probably more than you would have liked. It seems like that. But are you about out of ways to pressure the quarterback at this point? It seems like everybody's tried it, but yet it just seems like a struggle.
Never out of ways. We still have a lot of things up our sleeve in terms of finding ways to get pressure on the quarterback. So we're still no. We'll find different ways to get them down, get them on the ground, confuse them, be effective on third down.
What's the missing element? Anyway, it's a common theme, but I'm just curious at this point. What?
I don't know if there is one thing that a missing element. Right now, we just I think we have guys that are gaining experience. Guys are getting their sea legs up underneath them. We have a young group in terms of, and then we have guys that are rush is just not 4 individuals. If you're talking about a 4-man rush, it's 4 working as one. So that rotation has been switched around a lot with new bodies in there. So it takes a little bit for guys to get in and know another guy. Hey, I know that this is what a guy does. I cover him on the rush. I close gaps off. So we're still working on that. We're not abandoning our 4-man rush whatsoever.
Kyler had those back-to-back stops in the open field on one drive. What's kind of stood out to you about the way he's handled the physicality of the game and kind of making tackles like that?
Yeah, just the tackling has improved. There were times when there were some, he's come in the open field and had missed some tackles. So that's a credit to his position coach, DA, in terms of working with him, in terms of showing him what he didn't do maybe a week or two before, and repping that. And then it's a credit to him in terms of just improving from one week to the next. And we said that he has all the makeup of being going to be a good player, and it just, again, it takes a little bit of time. Not as fast as we would like it. Everyone would like it to happen day one, game one, but it takes time.
What are some of those next steps you'd like to see from him once he comes back in the last couple of months?
Just do that more consistently. What we're looking for is consistency in performance. If you're, whatever your athletic ability, mental state says you are, we're just looking for that to show up consistently. So if he has those 2 plays in the open field next ball game, this ball game coming up, we want to make sure that, 2 opportunities, 2 plays, 3 opportunities, 3 plays made. And so we want to play at a high rate, high percentage. That's what makes a good player. A good player functions at a high rate consistently.
Is there any coaching point on the roughing the passer? I know, like, guys, you can't go low, but he also kind of stumbled.
Yeah. No coaching point there. Stay on your feet. Also good athletes, they stay on their feet. And he's a good athlete. He's a great athlete. So just stay on your feet, run through the target area, stay up. Yeah.
Brisker got sent off twice by the spotter, and then now he's on the concussion list.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the process was like in terms of? Did you guys have any sense that there was anything wrong with him? I mean, he finished the game, and then did something come up Monday, or do you know?
Yeah. You know what? I don't necessarily talk about the individuals, what came up. In terms of the ball game, I let our trainers trainers and doctors take care of that. They're way more versed in that than I am. And so I have a guy in my ear that says, hey, Brisker's up or Brisker's down, and we go with it. And so, and they may say, hey, this is why, and this is the likelihood that they may come back. And then after that, I kind of stay out of it. We don't want to put pressure on guys. Get them back sooner, get them back earlier, get them back now. They just, and from that department, they tell me, and I go, okay.
You've had pretty good fortune with both safeties staying in the games this year. What do you like about your depth? And is this DHC up next if Brisker can't go?
Well, we have a couple of guys. We have DHC. We have a young guy, Elijah. We have Dane. So I think all of those guys do something a little bit different, a little bit special. DHC, he's well versed in a lot of different spots. We call him the man of La Mancha. He can do a lot of different things. We have Dane, who's big, strong, powerful, fast. We have Elijah, who's super instinctive. So we're going to win, and if they're out there, we just try to place them in spots that they do what they do well.
Alan, what has Justin Jones's leadership meant to this locker room, and how have you seen especially the young guys respond to him, especially since the last few weeks when he became defensive captain?
Yeah, I think they see the positive attitude that Justin has. Some guys are super vocal and they give messages, or they like to talk. I think Justin's one that leads by example. Even though we've dropped a few games that still, guys still have a bad taste in their mouth, and they're trying to get the stink off. But the great thing about Justin is he comes into work. He prepares each day. If you look, hey, game 6 to game, right now, his preparation is still steady. His attitude is great. He's still working to improve. So when you have a guy like that, that's a vet and a leader and your captain, that speaks volumes that he's leading by example.
Sometimes culture at teams it seems frankly kind of overrated. I'm not sure, it doesn't seem like it makes as big a difference as people like to think.
I'd stop you there and say never.
Okay.
I'd stop you right there and say never is never overrated. I'm sorry.
But the reason I ask is because this defense is in a tough spot, but they seem to be holding together, like no finger point. It seems like everybody is supporting everybody. I'm curious, what is the real value to you of keeping a good culture and keeping things on board, even when you're not as effective or as good as you want to be?
Yeah, you know what? My first year in the league, when I was in Tampa, there was a guy, Rich McKay, and he said, never. I remember a statement that he made. He said, never overestimate good leadership and good people in the locker room. And that always stuck with me in terms of, hey, the culture, and the culture being one of the things that that help you win. And I've been in the NFL long enough to go through some tough stretches, and the things that get you through those tough stretches are good players, first of all, good players that are good people, good players that work and have some moral fiber about them. And I think we have that, and I think it comes from the top, first from Poles and our head coach, Flus, the messages that they give, the type of people that we bring in. And then I think when you have guys that, first of all, can lead themselves, and then that give of themselves to our younger guys and other people, that can't help but be a recipe for success. So when you have that, and then the other thing is that most times teams fall apart from within. It's not external forces, and so when you have guys that like each other, that have some moral fiber, that when things aren't going well, they don't do this and splinter. They do this. They get tighter. They work harder. They sacrifice more for themselves. That can't help but build your team in a positive way.
Have you seen that firsthand, the splintering? Have you?
You know what? I won't answer that. I've heard it happen. I've heard it happen. I won't say I've seen it firsthand. I've heard, but I've seen the other way firsthand, that the positive part of those people come together. Yeah.
Alan, as the defensive coordinator, what was your reaction to Justin Fields trying to apologize to the defense for losing the Atlanta game?
I was sad. Really, I was sad, because I go, no. I just go, no. There's no reason to ever apologize. If you saw the way he worked, the way, you know what, not work, that's past tense. The way he works, if you saw the way he uplifts his teammates, if you saw how he sacrificed, you go, nah. No chance. We appreciate it. We understand, because that's what a competitor does. A competitor, puts the team on his back and shoulders the load. But no chance whatsoever that he needs to apologize. And I think every one of the guys echoed that same sentiment.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
All right, happy Thanksgiving, guys. There's a couple things I want to mention to start off. A couple cool things. Patrick Scales, this is his 100th regular season game, so we're really happy for him and happy to have him. But he's an outstanding guy for us, and it's really cool when you can reach 100 games. So definitely want to give him credit there. And then obviously I'm super excited about DHC being nominated for the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. I think he's super deserving. You guys know that award is kind of all about respect for the game, respect for opponents, integrity of the game, and DHC does a great job for us helping the rookies, because we got a lot of rookies, so he does a great job doing that and coming in the meeting room every day and having respect for the opponents, knowing what he's going to face and what the rookies are going to see, and he helps out a lot there. So I just want to mention that before we get going, because those guys are awesome and a big part of what we do on teams. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
What happened on Cordell Patterson's kickoff touchdown? What do you see on the film?
Yeah, I saw a really good athlete out there in Cordell, but we just had a couple guys get out of position. Obviously, the guy made a heck of a play, but we just had a couple guys get out of position. We corrected it in the meeting room, and obviously we're not going to act like it didn't happen. We got to be better there. But I also want to give our kickoff coverage team credit because they did tackle him at the 19-yard line. They did tackle him at the 21-yard line, and obviously you just know with that guy he's special. So we just got to be better in that situation. But they did do some good things. They did a lot of great things in the game. That was not a good play for us, obviously.
When you put Trent out for kickoff at the end,
Mm-hmm.
what's the rationale behind that?
Yeah, just we've been using both kickers all year. It's not Trent's first time kicking off, but we thought he would give us what we needed in that situation, and he delivered. So.
Kick it into the stands, essentially.
Well, you got to kick it into the stands with Cordell because if you don't, then he's going to bring it out regardless. So you probably just try to hit your best ball you can hit and play the best coverage you can play. So.
With 56-yarder, I know that Flu said that Cairo said he was good from that distance. That would have been a career long for him. When you're deciding kind of the, yes or no and relaying that to the head coach, how do you take into effect that this might be a career long for a guy? Situationally, you're indoors. How did all of that play out into going forward?
Yeah, it's a great question. We kick pregame, and we take a lot of the kicker's information on that. So how he's feeling that day, what he hit from pregame consistently, and we were well within his range, and he felt good about it, and he kind of just didn't hit it as like he wanted to hit it, so it just fell short. But we trust Cairo. He's good with communication. He's good with all that stuff. I mean, he's 4 or 5 from 50 plus, which is 80%. I mean, league average is like 71% this year. And if you just study it and you go back 10 years, the league average on 50 plus is 63%. So he's well above league average. He does well in plus 50 kicks. If you want to do it indoor, then it's 66%. So you get about 3 more. But he felt great, and obviously, if he could have that kick back, I know he'll make it.
Richard, the way kickoff return coverage, the way it's kind of measured, how much does it gnaw at you knowing that, because you guys have been good all year, and as you said, you were good the first 2 returns, but that one is always going to stick when it comes to that. You know more than just that number, but how much is it kind of frustrating that it might, overshadow what the group has accomplished?
Well, I think that's what you have to explain to the players, you have to be on all the time. So in our world, we don't get second down, we don't get third down, we only get 1 down to be special. So that's why all the other kickoffs that we've had were phenomenal. I mean, those guys know. I mean, the rookie's just a teaching moment for them. It's a teaching moment for all the guys that we want to be at our best every single time. Is that possible? Is any game going to be perfect? It's not, But, yeah, to mention what you said, they've been phenomenal all year. A lot of people don't know it. They know it. They mention it. They know they've been number 2 in the league on kickoff coverage, drive, start average up until the last 2 weeks. But it doesn't matter what you did. You're only good as your last play. So we got to go out there this week, and we're facing a good challenge. And number 10 from the Jets, he's a good player. So he's been in the end zone too. So we got a good challenge, and we're ready to get back out and cover again.
How happy were you for Velas to just break out like that?
Yes, yeah, that was a good play. Really good blocking by the guys, DHC and Matt Adams and all those guys. They did a great job blocking. Super happy for the whole unit, but also happy for Velas. He put in extra time. He put in extra work. He's been doing it for the last couple of weeks and extra meetings and fighting his tail off to get back. So to see him reap the benefits along with his teammates is really cool. It's what we're trying to build. So we just got to keep building and keep seeing if we can make more plays to help this football team.
He's been pretty strong mentally through this whole thing, but could you see any palpable signs of relief or just, that he'd kind of broken out and overcome it? I mean, could you see an effect of what he did?
I saw it more in his teammates than in him. He was even keeled, but if you watch the sideline and all the guys that came off the sideline to congratulate him, lets me know that people were really pulling for him and kind of knew where he was there, and what he's been through, which was really, really cool. Like DHC was really happy for him, and I'm happy for DHC causing that fumble and Jack Sanborn getting on it to put that ball like in plus field territory. We had 2 balls, which were good for the unit, that they put him the other side of the 50, and which is good. It helps, So that's our mission, is to do that, and hopefully Vegas can make another play.
Do you feel that Velas has more of a natural feel at the kick returner position as opposed to punt returner right now?
I feel like, I guess I don't think that he has a weakness with a feel in terms of feeling like instincts of of finding the lane or anything like that. I don't feel like one is bigger than the other. Like I think on kickoff return, it's a lot different. It's more space on punt return. So it's easier to return punts, but it's harder to catch them than kickoffs, if that makes any sense.
Richard, if DHC has to start, is he one of those guys that he can do a full load on defense and full load on special teams for you?
Yeah, I think we play starters on special teams at times. Jack Sanborn's still on the punt team. Brisker plays on kickoff coverage as a safety. So it's just kind of what we do. Like we have a ton of rookies out there, but we do play starters in spots. So I know one thing, he won't want to come off of anything if he were to start. But I don't know that he is or anything like that. So I don't have any information to give you on that part of it. But I know he takes special teams seriously, and I know he wants to play it.
Richard, you mentioned the extra work Velas has put in after being healthy scratch. What have you learned about him over the last month as he's gone from healthy scratch to now back helping the team?
Just that he's a guy that first he takes accountability for everything. That's what men do. They take accountability for whatever they do, and he's done that. And then I've seen a guy that just works hard and works his tail off, which means he's the right kind of character guy, which is a credit to the personnel staff that they keep having guys in here that have great character. And we have great character in our locker room. We have great morale, and this team is building, although the wins aren't what they are every week, but these guys are positive. They're ready to work, and I think it's a credit to Poles. It's a credit to Flus and their direction and how they're leading here. So, yep. Thanks, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Thank you.